Alright, good evening traders, good evening. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Welcome to the MGR Forex trading live stream once again. It's been quite a number of months since the last time we've actually done this. And honestly, I need to set up everything once again. It's been such a long period of time that all my settings and everything that I have actually put into place over the course of the last live stream have totally disappeared. So I have to find myself redoing everything and just simply getting that done. But yes, that's something for another time and something that we'll be doing over the course of this month as well. So I intend to do quite a number of these live streams, and we'll be mainly showcasing the scalping method, because of course the scalping method would then be more applicable and more appropriate for a short half an hour live stream. So the way in which we actually utilize it, there's two ways that we do it. The very simple way is simply waiting for price to break below the box, and upon doing so we then place a horizontal line on the top of the box and the bottom of the box as well. When price breaks below that particular line, we then simply place a sell position, with our stop loss being at the highs if it's a sell and at the lows if it is a buy. It's very simple. There really is no weird two ways about it. It's quite a simple method of trading. There's nothing weird or underhanded that's actually going on. It's very transparent and it's quite a simple way to be trading as well. The downside is that you have to select a few days within the week to actually trade this method, and you would need to find yourself going ahead and doing so. Another simple way of trading trading this method is simply going ahead, and of course this would have been a stop loss here, as you can see, but another way of doing this is simply going ahead and looking at the previous high and low within an hour of the box opening. So this over here is London session. London session opens at 9 a.m. Usually it's actually at 10 a.m. But in this scenario we're looking at 9 a.m. We then find ourselves going over to 8 a.m. 8 a.m. is right over here. And we mark out the highs and the lows that is actually occurring in real time over the course of that particular. So obviously you can see we are somewhat in the downtrend. We are creating lower highs and lower lows in this regard according to market structure. And what we are actually waiting for is for price to liquidate a high that has been created or a low that has been created, and then finding itself having a run towards either the upside or the downside in accordance to which high or low has been liquidated. So if we liquidate a high, we're looking for a run towards downside. If we liquidate a low, we're looking for a run towards the upside. It has to be quite a prominent level as well, may I add. So with that being the case, what high actually was liquidated? If we look carefully in this regard, and we have a trend line that is drawn across, we could argue and we could say that this trend line was the high that was liquidated. This is a very weird way of actually analyzing it, but that could be one way. Another way of looking at this would have been looking at the changing character of this particular level over there. I prefer to use a trend line in this regard. Let's actually do this to make it more cleanly. Wow, this is not English. So professional. To ensure our charts are clean, that we can have a clearer picture of what I am explaining. These are all the lower highs and lower lows, the internal market structure that's actually occurring. And sadly, there isn't really much we can move upon in this regard, aside from this particular level over here. So took it up, came all the way down, we then liquidated the low of that lower high. And that's where we get involved. Then we simply wait for a imbalance to occur, or interruption candle, and a retest of the interruption candle. So we had one interruption candle that occurred over here, and we have retested that particular one. So we broke below it over there, and we retested him, and then your sell opportunity would have been at around this level. Then this is perhaps a more advanced method of trading, but I can assure you it does work. again, your time period is in and around the hour before the London Open and the hour after that London Open as well. So you have this time period for price to be doing its thing before we look for a opportunity in that regard. But all right, let us go to another example, shall we, that puts this into perspective. Let's go over here, an hour before. That would be in and around, that's 8 o'clock, we're looking at 7. Please keep in mind that my time zone is UTC +2, also known as South African Standard Time. Let's have a look here. We've got a low that occurred there. We have a low that occurred here. We got a high that occurred on this round. A high that occurred on this round. We could argue that this was the liquidation of that high, of this high over here. And price then had a nice run towards the downside, which is great, which is exactly what we want to be seeing. The downside is, if we look at this from this perspective, how exactly does this particularly find itself working? Let's have a look. So we liquidated him on that regard. We're looking for a sell opportunity. I would argue I'd enter in on this fair value gap here. Now normally you are waiting for an interruption candle. There was one on this regard. We broke below, retested, but there was this imbalance that really found itself, or fair value gap that actually opened itself up at a much better location in comparison to this particular interruption candle there. So I'd look more to the premium level, being that level over there. Yeah, that would have been that. Looking at this definitely would have been a stop loss in that regard, sadly. We certainly pulled itself all the way back up, only to end up respecting the level and having a run towards the downside. That is sadly the way that turned out. Not to worry, as that is simply one opportunity of many. Let's analyze New York session. New York session over the course of Friday. We make it at 5 p.m. Here we are, 5 p.m. There we go. Let's mark our zones. We have a low, we have a high, low, high, a few lows in this regard over here, a high there. Not exactly the cleanest until you see this over here. So what I see on my side is I see a low being liquidated, lots of wicks being thrown up, indicating to me that there is volume at this level. As a result, I'm now looking for a fair value gap or anything else that might be useful. I have my fair value gap over here, retest of that level. It is at a premium or at a discount, and I'll have my 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio right over there. So that is the method effectively when we are going out and scalping. Yeah, that is my scalping method with regard to some forex pairs. Let's have a look at GBP/USD. Definitely a much better, I wouldn't say much better to be honest with you, but certainly a good pair to be trading. A very good pair indeed. Let's have a look at this. Of course, keeping in mind this is hindsight backtesting. So So we already know what the outcome is going to be, and forward testing is necessary for actual trading. Now sadly, I will live stream tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening at around 8 p.m. to ensure that you're actually able to see exactly how we analyze in real time. Today will simply be a back test of what has occurred in that regard. Alright, that was obviously a high. We took out a couple of more highs here as well. What low was liquidated? There was no low here at all that was liquidated, sadly. Would have been nice if there was, but that is the way it goes. This high over here was liquidated. We then created the information, an indication that we can have a run towards downside. And that was quite a clean one as well. Entry there, stop loss above the high, take profit right over there. That was one opportunity. Now we could have looked at this particular buy in the same way, but again, there was no prominent level that was actually liquidated aside from this low over here. We could argue this was a level there as well, but then what would have been your entry? There was no entry at all. So yeah, that was unfortunately what had occurred in that regard. This was the only clean opportunity that actually found itself occurring, and yeah, I think that was really quite a good setup on GU. But before I go any further, I mean, look, I can go on forever and a day with regard to how we trade. I think what I'll do is I'll simply be patient. We have the entire week to go through with many live streams, and I'm certainly going to find myself going more in detail, or have my live streams end up being more in depth with regard to the way on how I trade, just to ensure that the resources are available to all traders across the world, and to solidify my reputation as the best in the industry. So yeah, we are up and coming. I've been trading for the past 6 years. It's been, you know, I have some skin in the game. I've been doing this for quite a number of years, and yeah, I think it's going to be quite good. It is unfortunate that within South Africa and within, I think, globally as an industry, the forex industry is sadly not exactly one of the cleanest industries. There's many scam masters, many individuals who are simply taking people's hard-earned money, and it's quite unfortunate, really. It's really difficult to watch, seeing normal citizens working normal jobs, doing good, honest labor, being scammed out of their money. And I think that it does strike a chord, I think, within everybody's hearts in that regard, in the sense that that's not the right thing to do. We don't do that, and we certainly at MGR Forex Trading, we certainly are against any form of scamming whatsoever, which is also why we are running the program, in the sense where we now are launching copy trading, and your first deposit is from the brokerage. Now, of course, I've partnered up with many different brokerages. I've done that in that regard. I've done my due diligence with regard to what brokerage we should find ourselves using, and that is really what we do. You know, we go out, we do that, because if we do not do that, we put our clients at risk. And again, as mentioned previously, that is not at all what we stand for. So I think we'll be improving quite a bit. It's been a long time since I've been back on camera, but you know what? I'm excited again. I'm always happy to be able to share my knowledge and to do so within a platform like YouTube, and to do so for my traders, I think it's quite an honor and a privilege, and I'll be definitely using that to my benefit, and especially to the benefit of my traders as well. It is a lot more convenient for them to be able to watch the YouTube video in comparison to having to watch my dedicated resources on the website and on the Telegram groups. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite good, and I'm excited to see how things progress. I mean, already we are on a waitlist. We have a waitlist for our copy trading program, because again, there's effectively no risk to the client aside from them being able to go in and withdraw all the profits, which I'm not sure is a risk, but perhaps they might just get too overzealous with regard to the amount of money that they are making, again, at no expense to the client. So yeah, that is what I have for tonight. I think I'm going to end it over here. Yeah, I think we definitely find ourselves building a community, and that is what we want to find ourselves doing. Building the trust again in the Forex industry, because this definitely can change lives. Alright, aside from that, traders, have a wonderful evening. Please keep well, keep safe. I'll catch you again in the next few days with many more live streams, much more content as well on the YouTube channel. We have many different social media platforms. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc., LinkedIn, and of course we have all that professional content being created for you to indulge in and just find yourself popping a view and make the most of that. Aside from that, once again, have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you within the week. Cheers, guys.